In my delivery yesterday, I met someone on Instagram who runs a small family business in Lincolnshire, and they have something in their shop that I don't often see in online shops, and that is homemade puff pastry. Now, I'm one of these people, I don't enjoy baking, it's just not my thing, and I certainly would never make pastry. And the shop bought stuff is perfectly fine, but I thought I'm going to try out this pastry that arrived yesterday. I'm going to put plenty of flour on the board, and I want to make something that will show off the pastry. So I thought, well, it's the summer. My tomatoes, frankly, will never ripen. They're still small, green and hard. So I'm actually going to make a tomato tart with some shop-bought tomatoes, which I've got sitting in the fridge, and they're getting quite ripe. So I'm going to very sort of roughly, excuse me, roll out this pastry. There's no specific measurements. I have just rolled out a very rough rectangle. Now, because it's puff pastry and I want to help it puff as much as possible, I'm actually going to just take off the very, very edges of the pastry because that will ensure a jolly nice puff. Oh, I'm going to have to turn this off because I'm about to cough a lot. Sorry about that. I'm still trying to get over this. God damn, I don't know what it was, whether it was a cold, it was the flu, I had the temperature. My throat is still not right, my chest is still bad. But I've had it for a week now, and I just have to get on with it. So, what I'm doing, I'm now just brushing it with an egg yolk that's been lightly beaten with a few bits of water, a few splashes of water. I'm not being precious about this. It's all just quite rough and ready. I have preheated the oven to 200 degrees. I'm going to get a small sharp knife. Oh, there it is. Small sharp knife, and I'm going to just score about 1 centimetre. You don't want to go right the way through. I'm just putting a score about there, all the way around. Be very careful not to go through. And then with a fork, if you fork your pastry, and then when you've done that, stick it in the oven for about 10 minutes. Everyone that knows me knows that the kind of one of the signature things from my restaurant days is my homemade ricotta. I will measure everything out and tell you what it all is for a recipe after this, but I've got some ricotta that's going to go on the base. I've got some parmesan. I'm going to tip that in there. I don't want to dirty a mixing bowl, I'm just going to mix it in this bowl. I've got some garlic that's been crushed. I've got some fresh basil. What else have I got? Oh, I've got some lemon. I will put some lemon zest in there. That would be quite nice. I'm going to put some lemon zest. I will put in some pepper, and I will give it all a mix up, and that's going to be the base of the tart. Pastry's in. I've mixed the ricotta. I've now mixed a tablespoon of shop-bought pesto with a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, and I've just mixed that up because that's what I'm going to dab onto the tomatoes before it goes into the oven for the roasted tomato final cook. Wow, this pastry looks incredible. I'm going to just go round where I'd scored it, and I'm going to then flatten this base, and then I'm going to just leave it to cool for a few minutes before I try and put the filling on. So I'm going to use a fork. It doesn't matter, my fork's dirty, but it doesn't matter because it's dirty with ricotta, which is what's going to be the next thing that goes on here. The pastry smells amazing. There we go. I'm just going to leave that to cool for a few minutes. This has been cooling for about 5 minutes. I'm now going to put on the ricotta and carefully spread that all around. So I'm using a palette knife to spread it about. I've got some tomatoes. I've actually sliced up about 300 grams, but I'm not sure I'll need all of them. This will make enough for 4 people for a starter or for a light lunch. So that's the ricotta spread. I'm now going to spread the tomatoes all over there. So I want this to look rustic. You need to salt. Tomatoes adore salt. So I'm using some sea salt here. And then I've got the pesto and olive oil mixture that I made, and I'm just going to put a little bit on the spoon and kind of dollop it like that. Just drop it on, a little bit messy. Gorgeous. And then this is going to go in the oven for, I'm going to check it after 20 minutes, maybe 20 to 25 minutes. And then it'll be ready. So this has been in for 20 minutes. I don't think it needs any longer. It smells amazing. I'm going to leave it to cool a bit before we tuck in and eat it. I'm just going to slide that off the tray. It's delicious. Mm. Mm. You can see all the lovely flaky layers.